Thank you everyone for taking the time out of your busy Wednesday to attend this presentation. My name is Jared Barul. I am part of the Be Well team here in Virginia Beach. We are going to be talking about our tobacco cessation program, Quit for Life, offered through Optum. We have Karen Rosevier on the line to do the presentation for you all. Just a couple of housekeeping things before we get started, which I'm sure you're all aware of at this point in the pandemic, but you're all currently on mute. We do ask that you stay on mute for the entire presentation. If you have any questions or comments, please use the chat feature. We'll have plenty of time at the end for a Q&A session. Also, in case you want to reference the presentation afterwards, or any of your coworkers were unable to attend, the recording will be available online shortly afterwards. So it is being recorded, this live session. Everyone attending, you'll be receiving a point voucher within the next couple of days. So just keep your eyes out for that. That will be coming from myself. Again, my name is Jared Barul. But other than that, Karen, it is all yours.
Great. Thank you, everyone, and good morning. First off, for technical, I just want to make sure that everyone can hear me and see my screen. Jared, do we got a thumbs up?
Yes, Karen, you are all set.
Perfect. So it's a good morning because I am calling in from Seattle. My name's Karen Rosevier, and I'm the Client Services Manager for the city's Quit for Life program. I've been working with the benefits team over the last, I'd say 7 years to be offering this program, but you've had this program longer, closer to 7 years. It's been a delight to get to know, yourselves and the benefits team, and we just constantly strive to, make sure that you are all aware of the benefit, know it's out there, and to provide more information. So that's what we're going to do today, is to take a deeper dive into the Quit for Life program itself. We have a small group here, so I know Jared has muted, but maybe at the end, if there are questions that I can answer, I'd love to be able just to answer your questions just here and now. So save those to the end. And with that, I'm going to start with our first slide. It's always important to begin these conversations with a good understanding of tobacco and the tobacco landscape for today. Many of you, I assume, are joining this call because either yourself or a family member is a tobacco user and wanting to quit. But globally, in the U.S., we have so many health initiatives, and we tend to forget, okay, what is really happening in the world of tobacco in the U.S.? Currently, 1 in 5 people, U.S. adults, still use some form of tobacco product. So the tobacco product has expanded over the last couple of years to include e-cigarettes and vaping. We'll be talking about that a little bit more in the presentation. And out of those 1 in 5, 70% of those who are using or smoking cigarettes want to quit on their own. Want to quit, but just don't have the tools or haven't been successful in the past. 1 in 5 is a large number. We have decreased the prevalence of adults smoking cigarettes to the lowest it's ever been in the U.S. I think that is something to acknowledge and to celebrate. We are down to a 14% prevalence, but still, we have a long ways to go when we still see the numbers of 1 in 5 U.S. adults still use some sort of tobacco product. Within those, within the U.S. population, too, we know that there are populations who have a much higher tobacco prevalence. I just mentioned that the U.S. adult smoker is at about a 14%. But when you look at subgroups like the LGBTQ population, they jump up to about a 21% prevalence. Those with behavioral health conditions have a 32% prevalence in tobacco use. Veterans at 29%, and we could, we could dissect that even further into other groups. But I wanted to pull that out just to show that there are populations with a much higher prevalence and also a much lower quit rate. So, we know that, say, for behavioral health conditions, for people who are experiencing anxiety or depression, we need to provide a different type of a treatment approach. And that's what the Quit for Life has done, is really personalize this and made tailored programs to help those with where and how they need that. In the conversation about tobacco use and where we are today in the world of COVID-19, it's always important to acknowledge that tobacco use increases the risk of respiratory infections, and it suppresses the immune system, decreases the response to infection, more likely to contract influenza, and makes it harder for COVID-19 and other infectious diseases. Really, the tobacco use and being more susceptible to COVID-19 really plays a part. And so really that is one of the best, quitting is really one of the best things you can do for your lung health. And it was so important now and all of last year while we were facing COVID during the pandemic. It was interesting to see how the Quit for Life responded, how tobacco users responded last year during the pandemic. Overall, we did not help as many people as we thought. Quit line enrollments were down, not just within the city of Virginia Beach, but this is across our entire book of business. And we do provide our services to health plans and state quit lines. But I just thought this was so interesting. I wanted to share that, people were staying home, staying safe, but it did not move people to readiness to quit, despite the fact that that would be the best for their health. I think just, the anxiety and all the change that people were experiencing became a barrier. But also on the flip side, that cigarette sales increased last year, 1%. So we are now to the point that we are starting to get the data about the impact, from, how last year impacted the tobacco cessation world, the tobacco industry. And so now, with these stats, it's more important to take a look and say, okay, this is the time that is to quit, and let's figure out how the Quit for Life can help you be the most successful. Also in the world of tobacco, vaping has really changed the landscape of the tobacco industry. Years ago, well, it wasn't that many years ago, when vaping first came out, I'd say within the last 5 years, there was a lot of misinformation about vaping, about e-cigarettes, about, you know, its purpose. Their marketing campaigns really highlighted celebrities using them. They used messages that it would help you quit. It became very confusing. The reality is, over the last 4 years, we've learned a lot. And, you know, we know that vaping is as dangerous and as smoking cigarettes. And so we, as a program here, will, this is the right program to enroll in if you want to quit smoking e-cigarettes as well. There are a lot of stats here that I'm displaying too about what we're seeing in terms of usage for our participants. So it's increased over the last several years from 13% to 15% of those who are enrolling. But it's also important to see what's the demographic. We are seeing that the younger age, we are helping the most, and that is because the youth are starting to vape, to use e-cigarettes at a much higher rate. This was in the news a lot before COVID happened, or back in the last part of 2019. News was very reported almost daily on the amount of youth who are using e-cigarettes. Because of that, there were some legislation changes in the beginning of 2020 that banned the electronic flavored devices. So the flavored cartridges that tasted like strawberries or bubble gum, all these things that really made the youth really want to smoke and want to vape, there no longer was there the opportunity or the situation where they took a puff of a cigarette and made them cough because it was disgusting. Vaping, they would take a puff and go, yum, it's bubble gum. And just from that, from that moment, you can see how potentially addictive this could be from a physical and a psychological perspective. So I bring this up, just for education purposes. Youth are starting to vape at a much higher rate. If many of you may have children at home and may need to get more information about how to talk to your youth, and that is something that you should call the quit line and have a conversation with a coach as well. Just to end the conversation in terms of vaping and electronic devices as well, the Quit for Life program does contribute to the research, and we work closely with the CDC. And our quit coaches are there to help you quit electronic devices. We acknowledge that some usage of the electronic devices may have helped people wean down their cigarette usage. And we acknowledge that and we celebrate that. We do then move people and we help people move them off of the electronic cigarettes and use the medications that we know are effective and safe. And that's like the patch and the gum that's all provided through our program. I bring that up just because, there has been some success for people quitting using the electronic device. And so it is a hard conversation to have, to know, yes, there is some positives to it. We've seen it. The studies have seen it. But ultimately, we want to move people off of all tobacco products, including e-cigarettes. And this is the program to help. If there's questions about that at the end, I'm happy to go into that further in case what I said needed a little bit more clarification. So I've talked a lot about Quit for Life, and this is the program to help. I did mention that we provide this program to employers, to state plans, to health plans, and we have been providing this program for over 35 years. We are considered the industry leaders in terms of tobacco cessation. And so I want you to feel confident in our methodology, our treatment approach, and in our Quit coaches. The treatment that we do provide is evidence-based, and it's based on what we call the triangle of addiction. And that's the physical, psychological, and the behavioral side of addiction. So to help understand that, you often, I'll provide an explanation. You often hear people say, I used the patch and I was doing great, and then I went off the patch and I started smoking again. I don't know what happened. Well, the patch helped with the physical side of addiction, but did not address the psychological, the behavioral. And the behavioral is just those triggers that you naturally have that makes you start smoking, whether it's, and everyone's different. So a trigger could be just that morning cigarette, needing to smoke when you wake up, or the car might be a trigger. Stress. Smoking is not my trigger. I tend to want to eat more when I get stressed. So those are the behavioral things that we address. The psychological as well. We often hear people saying, you know, the cigarette is my best friend. I need this for support. We also hear that, you know, people say, you know, my smoke break is the only 5 minutes I get to myself. Those are all very real statements. And to be successful, you know, we have to address the physical with the patch and the gum, the behavioral, the triggers that you have on the day-to-day, and just those other thoughts we need to reframe. And so you're not as dependent from a psychological point of view. So when we're talking to a coach, it is, no program is the same. The coach will, you know, personalize a plan for you based on your motivations, based on your barriers, based off of your triggers and psychological needs there. We have coaches that are available through the phone. We offer 5 calls. We have a lot of digital support that I'll go into a little bit more. And of course, the medications, the nicotine patch and the gum. The coaches, it's here at the Quit for Life, I always say, are the key to success of our program. They are amazing. Most of them, or I'd say about 60% of them, are ex-smokers themselves, ex-tobacco users. That all of them have gone through and met the Association for the Treatment of Tobacco Use and Dependence core competencies. I always have to read that bullet. It's a mouthful. But what that truly means is that our coaches here only do tobacco cessation. We are not a wellness program that has, you know, a chapter or 2 on tobacco cessation or part of our program that's tobacco, this is all we do. We are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We're closed on the national holidays, but if you need us, a Quit coach will be there. You just pick up the phone and you will get a person on the line here to help you when you need it. Medications. The coach will talk to you about medications on your first call. The first call is the most robust. It's probably about a 20 to 25-minute conversation with the coach. This is where you set up your quit plan and set your quit date. And within that quit plan, we talk about medications. Not everyone wants to use medications. Not everyone should be using medications, just in terms of people can call in after they've quit, and just need support. Those people who have already quit or recently quit, they, medications, they're beyond that at that point. So we here at the Quit for Life provide a lot of education about the medications that are available to help you quit. We spend a lot of time on the nicotine patch and the gum. Oftentimes, tobacco users have tried one or a medication in the past. So we talk about that. What worked for you, what didn't work. You often hear that maybe some people had some weird dreams. Well, there's tips and tricks that our coaches can give you to help you with that. We also can help usage with RX medications, with the Chantix or with the bupropion. These are RX medications that you would need to get a prescription from your doctor. So if that is something you want to use, great. We are trained here to help in terms of helping you understand how to use it. If there's questions you have with that or side effects that you're feeling, you can come to the coach as well as your doctor on that. The coaches do incorporate that and help you with compliance, but that is not fulfilled through the Quit for Life program. That's still through your regular doctor, your doctor's prescription in your pharmacy, but we help you use that. Now, the 8 weeks of the patch or the gum, if you decide you want to go that route, those are mailed directly to your home. So in this world of staying home, staying safe, this is a great benefit to this program. You don't have to go anywhere. The patch and the gum is delivered to you. While you are in between calls with your coach, we want you to stay engaged. So the tools that we have for you is a website and a mobile app, and we have text messaging support. So the website or our web portal houses trackers, articles, videos that help you during the quit process. The videos, we have 2 curriculum series. One is quitting tobacco and one is stress management. Each curriculum contains 7 really short videos, less than 2 minutes each, and walks you through the steps in terms of quitting and how to manage your stress. Managing your stress is equal billing as part of this program to quitting smoking or tobacco, because that will help you stay quit and having those stress management tools. Text to Quit is something that you can opt into when you enroll. You can get automated text messages sent to your phone. It is great reminders also that lets you know your quit coach is going to be calling. Sometimes, we don't recognize a phone number coming in. So getting a text that lets you know that your quit coach is going to be calling, you may pick up the phone a little bit more when they do call you for one of your 5 calls. You also have the ability to text in. The intense cravings that people sometimes experience right when they quit, they're short-lived. They're only 3 to 4 minutes long, but can be very intense. You can text in the word crave, and you'll get a craving game. What that does is get your fingers moving, occupied, gets your mind on something else just long enough to overcome those cravings. So again, we are on demand there in terms of what we can provide to you while you're between calls, and as support and tools to help you stay quit as well. The online learning, the video series on quitting tobacco and stress management, these videos are brand new as of last year, and they are very engaging. They are short, engaging. Once you are in the curriculum, most of participants go through the entire video series because it just flows so nicely and it educates them. And always at the end of every video, there is an action item. There is a question to answer. And the more you participate on the portal and answer these little questions, the more we can provide relevant information to you. So an example in terms of a quick question afterwards would be, how do you feel like you can manage your stress today? And saying, from a scale to 1 to 10, we know what content to deliver and to put in front of you next, just by providing a few answers. And that's the goal here, is to make sure that we are providing the content that is most helpful to you and is personalized to you. So the more engaged you are on the portal, on the text messaging, on your calls, the more we can help you. This is really our last slide. I do want to remind you that this program is free. There is no cost to enroll. This is a great benefit in terms of medications, the treatment, all the digital tools. You also get to earn Be Well points through Virgin Pulse when you enroll into the program and complete 3 calls with your coach. You get to earn 3,000 points each semi-annual period. So up to 6,000 points per year. So I just wanted to remind people of that there are points also, that can be earned with your engagement in the program. And really, that was my last slide and we are ending here with plenty of time to answer questions if anyone has any. Jared, is there any tricks to the mute or not mute for questions?
I can see if I can unmute everyone, but I'm not seeing anything come in on the chat box either.
Okay.
So participants do have the ability to unmute themselves now if they would like to speak out or again, put something in the chat box. But while we wait for that to come in, Karen, thank you so much. I know that was a lot of great information. As always, you can reference the Be Well guide, but a reminder, the recording will be up on our website shortly after in case you want to go back and rewatch or, let any of your coworkers or friends know about the presentation. But I'm not seeing anything come in. So again, thank you, Karen, so much. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to be here. But other than that, you are all free to go.
Great. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it.